Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the week 5. I forgot the week. Welcome back to week 5 of the UKLC. My name is Hitbrain once again, and who are you? It's Saga. But I just, honestly,
I am what happens when you can't book Trid. You get the budget version. This is who shows up. Sorry, guys. Trid's too busy getting himself all fit and lean and posting Twitter pictures about it, just making everyone else feel bad.
You did really well. You had you 2 weeks ago. You were kind of knowledgeable. You told me about your hamster that got eaten by your cat. Yeah, no, it didn't. It would have been a hell of a story if the cat ate the hamster. Not the hamster ate the cat.
That would be a real story.
That would be a story. That would be a real story. Now, let's have a little look back at that last game because that was back and forth.
Yeah, that was definitely a story in and of itself, that game, because we knew that it was going to be close. Both of these teams are tied in the standings. They're very, very close together. They've got similar levels that they've been playing to. Peaked kind of, semi-finals is kind of the furthest they've got across the 5 weeks that we've had so far in the tournament. They haven't actually pushed beyond that. And this was one of the chances where one of the teams is guaranteed to get yet another shot at winning a semi-finals matchup. It's going to be against Excel, though, so that will be tough. But, I mean, both of them showed that they are definitely on very similar levels in terms of their actual mechanical strength in game. And it's great to see that the teams can be this closely matched up.
I haven't had it confirmed yet, but I want to know who our MVP is because I honestly don't know who would have taken MVP from that game because I think there was quite a few people who really showed up. But one man showed up in particular, and it is going to be Scood from Enclave, the jungler on that Lee Sin. Had a very good early game. He was just all over the map. Didn't let the invades get to him at all, and he played a flawless game, at least in there.
Yeah, it started off very strong, bullying out Soft in the jungle in combination with all of his other laners as well, putting so much pressure down and just keeping that Olaf pick out of that comfort zone for an Olaf where he's having all that pressure in the early stages of the game. That snowballed into getting the objectives, and eventually when that Elder Drake was up, was enough for them to secure that, get that buff they needed to win the following team fight and take the game.
Well, next up is going to be our game 3 of the day, which is going to be Diabolus, the other guy from hell. Diabolus versus Nvision. Now, this one actually is fairly interesting to me because I think Diabolus have been a consistent team across the split. Not enough to really push it into, that kind of top tier, but like the consistency, they got them last for UKLC. In the spring split, their consistency got them to European Masters, but their consistency's kept them middle of the pack. Nvision, they struggled at the start, but there has been some games where I am starting to get some real flashes of hope from them. And that's why I voted for them in my predictions. But I believe we have some tweets actually to bring up. I believe. I just see a tweet. There you go.
There we go. Oh, it's Lee.
Oh, it is.
It's our producer, Lee.
This is the guy who, if you don't use that hashtag at the end of the tweet...
He has to do them himself. Put his own tweets in.
We actually he has to do a handstand for half an hour after the show. We literally make him do it. And he doesn't have a wall to lean on. He just has to stand on his hands for half an hour. And if he doesn't get any dinner.
It's a sad time to be a producer, really.
So make sure you use that hashtag UKLC, get your tweets featured on the show. And then Lee, he's a few tweets off not having to do a handstand.
We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. While we're actually at it, make sure that if you do want to come to the finals on the 1st of September for Twickenham, you can actually pick... I'm really good at speaking. You can pick them up over on the UKLC.gg website /tickets, I believe. Yeah?
Makes sense. Yeah. That's where you buy your tickets.
Tickets. There you go. UKLC.gg /tickets. We have limited availability, so you got to push this because it's really now or never if you want to get yourself to the live finals on the 1st of September at Twickenham.
Sure is, and it's definitely somewhere where you're going to want to be. We've been following these teams for 5 weeks so far, a few more left to go until we decide who will be on that main stage in the live finals. So if you've been following them this far, you're definitely not going to want to miss out seeing them live.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I haven't been to, a live finals since EU Masters, actually, so it'd be nice to kind of meet people, play some games.
Lose the 1v1 tournament?
Maybe. Let's have a little look at one more tweet here before we get going into this game. This is Diabolus' coach, who's aptly named Coach.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not going to lie.
It just keeps going. Look at this.
Oh, my Lord. I was so confused on what was going on, and now...
Oh, no. Oh, no. They've
brought
the Teemo
into this. If a Teemo gets picked up, I'm going to be so happy. Kakan, mate. Why is this
Even
the Cookie
Kakan has
Monster?
no idea what's going on.
I just read that as the Cookie Monster, though.
Kakan just like, my coach has lost his mind. It's not.
Even
It's looking
drafting
good.
for you,
It's
mate,
looking
so-
good.
If Timo gets picked up, I will buy Spite Nick and Udia skin. There you go.
If Timo gets picked up, I will commission small knitted Timo hats for my hamsters.
Like, actually, do it. Please. I want this so bad. Can you get one with the cats as well?
They'd have to be slightly bigger, but
Yeah,
I could
obviously.
probably manage it.
All right. Well, you've had it here. I doubt the coaches are listening, but I'm sure
could
all
be.
Goners are currently rapidly picking up the phone like, make sure you pick Timo.
Well, if anyone's going to do it, looking like it's going to be coach. He's already pulled it out in the tweets, so...
I hope. I really hope. Let's have a little look at our rosters before we get too wacky and taken away. Coming up on the blue side, we'll be starting it up with Diabolus in the top lane, Kakan, PFI in the jungle, Fury in the mid, Dragdar ADC, and the Heathen as their support.
And looking to take them down in week 5 on the opposite side of the rift, it's Nvision, with Brelia in the top lane, Infinity jungle, Sonder in mid, Spark AD carry, and Proper Panda on support.
All right. Well, I mean, like, who are we watching here for me? Like, who do you think's kind of like the exciting lane to watch?
So realistically, a lot of Diabolus' success has come through Kakan in the top lane when it's a Yordle, but it's not Timo. He's been on Kennen, and he's been looking very, very strong on that, finding the flanks, getting team fights started. So that's kind of where I'm going to be looking at in the drafting phase, whether he's able to get his hands on a champion that can get the fight started and have a lot of impact in that kind of the team fight style. But then again, if you look at Nvision, similar story in the top lane, but completely different playstyle. As Brelia, he's the guy that ended the game last week with the Malphite backdoor of all champions.
The slowest backdoor I think I've ever seen.
So, I mean, he can definitely have his own way to end games, and it doesn't necessarily have to match up with the style of the Diabolus play style as well. So.
I mean, that wasn't scripted at all, because our matchup to watch actually is going to be the top lane. It is Borrelia versus Kakan. These two, I mean, like, Borrelia, he had an incredible play throughout Forge of Champions. He looked like a threat in his top lane. He looked terrifying. And then as he entered into UKLC, he hasn't had quite the performance he did during the Forge of Champions, during the promotional stage for Nvision. Kakan joining Diabolus for the summer split. He has been really, really good. Like, a very impressive top laner.
Yeah, he really has been. And Brelia, strangely, has had a lot more kind of success, or at least impressive performances on those more unconventional picks. So we've looked at things like his Aatrox he's picked up a couple of times and hasn't had much success. But as we say, Malphite has been something that he's pulled out and found a win on. So you could kind of say that he's kind of like the Kerberos of this season's top lane, where he has all these weird, wacky pocket picks. No Triforce Cho'Gath just yet, but we might see it. No Warwick tops yet, but potentially there's a game right now. But he has his own little back pocket.
Borrelia is like Kerberos 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When Kerberos was playing like the Warwick, the Kayle,
exactly,
the Triforce
the weird
Cho'Gath,
stuff.
like the Nasus, and just like the really mad top lane picks. Borrelia feels like he's very raw at the moment, just like Kerb was a few years ago. And obviously we haven't got Kerb in the split at the moment, as he's off, I believe, in Korea currently.
He was getting flamed on Rush's stream as well for having EU West in his name. I like that.
But like, I feel like, I mean, you look at the growth of Kerberos as a player, and I feel like Borrelia maybe is capable of that kind of growth, but the growth for Kerberos started when he kind of dropped the wackier picks.
Yeah.
And we know that, first of all, Borrelia is capable of playing meta. He's called Borrelia. He plays Aurelia. It's permabanned at the moment versus anyone, and especially him. But he's also got like the Vladimir that he plays top lane, another pick that we know he's quite good on. So I feel like he has potential to play some more meta, and I like the Malphite because of the fact that it's a fairly simple engage champion. I wouldn't say it's meta at all by any stretch of the imagination, but you press R, you point your mouse where you want to go, and you just slam into the enemy team. Not when it was onto Isaiah with Featherstorm.
When she just ults and just ignores it. And that's kind of the thing we're looking at for Nvision, is just growth throughout this split. As they came in through the promotion tournament, we're seeing improvements on them already throughout these stages. So it's just looking to keep that momentum flowing for them.
All right, well, we are into the picks and bans here. We're taking away the likes of the Pyke, the likes of the Yasuo. I wanted Diabolus to kind of target ban out Borrelia and just give Kakan a really comfortable lane. Because Borrelia's champ pool has been an interesting one. That's one of the things I want to kind of like touch on, is what he's been playing, because he's had he's had a bit of a mix of champs so far.
He really has. It's definitely quite difficult to ban out because, as we say, he's got pocket picks. He can always just reach back in there and whip something out that you had no idea was coming, Timo. Something like that. But yeah, it's going to be difficult, but you do really want Kakan to have a favorable matchup so he can get ahead and start getting those plays snowballing across the map.
All right, well, let's have a little look at Borrelia's champ pool so far. So he's got 2 games on the Aatrox. That KDA is yikes. Then the Vladimir KDA is yikes. Garen is turbo yikes. And then, hey, Malphite, he's showing up.
Malphite, woo!
There we go, my boy!
Garen's an interesting one because that was kind of a takeaway against Demise where they'd already picked up the Yuumi and they didn't want to run into the Garen Yuumi. So that was kind of forced his hand into playing that. But still, it's something that he has played. And yeah, it didn't go so great for him, but it's something that no one else has played in the top lane. And Borrelia, he has that going for him at least.
Yeah, this is one of the things is like, there's a few kind of standard picks in there, and there's also a few kind of less than standard picks in there. As we are seeing Diabolus actually, they're going to lock in the Jarvan as their first pick up here. So we'll see what the Nvision decide to pick up. Do they want to pick Borrelia or a blind pick here? Typically, no. Most people are kind of saving top lane for that later stages of the ban and the pick and ban phase. So the moment we'll see what Nvision decide to kind of round out and start to build their comp with.
Yeah, and Diabolus took this J4 last week as well in a match against Enclave, paired it up with the Gnar in the top lane, which is somewhat similar to the Kennen in the fact that it can have a lot of impact in team fights with a big AoE ultimate, especially if you lock people down in the Cataclysm first, and then you're guaranteed to stun wherever it goes.
Do it! He's not going to do it.
Wait a
and
minute.
they're just baiting me so hard. They're baiting me so hard. Come on, do it. I've actually never wanted something more in my life for Kakan on Timo. Like, words can't describe how badly I want this. You know what? I don't even mind if it's Kakan. It's just someone plays Timo. That'd be great.
Ooh, this would be good, though.
Oh, that is new. First time.
Every game so far today. So we're going to actually get a Kiana game in.
I'm going to have to grab my phone and look up the ability base.
All you need to know is the ultimate is a supreme display of talent, and it's probably the worst named ultimate.
It's a hard name for a play-by-play.
I mean, it's after when they changed Twitch's ult to Rat-a-tat-tat, and it's like, what are you doing?
Rat-a-tat-tat was such a sick name.
It wasn't.
Spray and Pray was also cool. The problem is like both of the iterations of his name have been, of that ulti name, have been sick. Like Spray and Pray is the OG, but like Rat-a-tat-tat was cool.
Rat-a-tat-tat
they changed it back though.
It's something cool you can shout out in a team fight, but it shouldn't be like
it should be
Finalis Funkeln.
They should change the name only when he's using the gangster skin.
Yeah,
because then it works for that. But Ezreal's going to get picked up for Dragdar. This is a champion who we've seen him pretty much pick exclusively along with that Sivir. A Spark picks up the Sivir for himself, and Nvision. There's one word I can think of when I look at that comp, and it's scaling.
Yeah, and especially Spark getting his hands on the Sivir, played it both games of Envision's in the previous week, so a lot of comfort there in the bottom lane. Looking for a support to match it up with, unless, you know, Karthus support, but highly unlikely to go with that, especially when they've had their hands on like the Leona and Karma in the previous weeks. So can go for a more passive lane, can be more aggressive. It depends on exactly what the matchup is going to be with the Ezreal in the bot lane for Diabolus, but typically that's going to be a relatively safe lane, so maybe going for the over-aggressive engage.
They just banned the Malphite.
They don't want to get backdoored.
That's the Kennen taken away from Kakan, so that's one Yordle down. I have to see what Nvision decide to like make their next ban. What do they want to take away here?
I think the Gnar could definitely be one that's on their radar, or it could just be something a little more aggressive. Like we say, Irelia is still up and on the table, and it's had a lot of impact, especially in the hands of a mechanically gifted player.
All right, well, last ban's going to be the Camille here, so Kakan starting to get some target bans out here. One ban has made it through, though. 0% pick rate, 0% ban rate in the UKLC. Timothy. I was going to say Annie, but sure.
Oh, okay,
we actually did have Annie top in early seed last week as well.
It was a wonder.
You never know.
Whipped that one out.
Got hair in my eye. Ugh. Me and Orcs, when we're on camera, just stuff falls in our eyes. I don't know what's going on.
It's because you're like way up there. If you're down here, like at my level.
I mean, I'm not that much taller. All right, Nautilus going to be the final ban here. Nvision now looking to pick up either their support or their mid laner. That Karthus could go mid, but realistically, we're probably going to see it go jungle, and we'll see what Papa Panda actually decides to go for. That's going to be the Leona, so there's some real engage now locked in for Nvision. What are they going to round it out with? What are they going to put it up with, though?
Okay, so it will be the aggressive lane into the Ezreal. The Karma was already banned, as well as the Nautilus, and they were missing some sort of engage, as you're likely going to see the Karthus heading into the jungle. So that's a lot of damage, and they needed something with engage potential and a little bit of tankiness as well. So that's going to come from the jungle, and could also be going into the hands of Brelia as well. There's going to likely be a tankier pick coming out from him in the top lane as well, and he's no slouch on those. He's relatively comfortable on them, even if the Malphite's banned.
Well, Coach has played in my heart, unfortunately. So it looks like the Braum's going to get picked up for the Heathen there. They are actually still looking for a top lane.
Okay.
Going to go for the Vladimir. Now, I actually like this. I know it's not a Teemo, but it is a hard deny into Borrelia, who has been playing the Vladimir. While his one performance on the UKLC wasn't as good as what we kind of expect from him, you got to keep in mind when he played in Forge of Champions, that was like the pick that carried Nvision through to actually get themselves the win and make it in and qualify, into the UKLC. And that is going to be...
Ooh, there we go.
We were comparing him to Kerberos, and he just picked what Kerberos played the whole time. The Yorick gets picked up.
So of the 4 champions that Brelia has played in previous weeks, only the Garen was left up, and they didn't really want to take that into the Vlad matchup. It doesn't sound particularly fun. So he's going to go on something that can, once again, split push and end games without needing to have that huge impact in team fights, which is where Vladimir is going to be shining. So again, Kakan will be looking to group up with his team, particularly around objectives. That is where Diabolus has found a lot of success with teleport flanks coming in from the back, getting those huge AoE ultimates down and having a lot of impact from the top lane in that regard. But when you're against someone like Brelia on a champion like Yorick, who's just notoriously going to be split pushing, that can be kind of your undoing in that kind of situation.
And we saw a lot last season when Yorick was kind of like a higher priority pick in the top lane. We saw a lot of top laners picking the Yorick up into the likes of the Vladimir, because you can kind of range with the mists onto him, send the ghouls, and that if it forces the pull out or the transfusion early, it can be quite messy. So, and yeah, like you said, the split push late, like Vladimir can't match the split push.
Yeah.
And
Kiana
that means it locks him from teamfight.
Though.
You're right.
Kiana will be able to fight the Yorick, but that will mean that she won't be involved in the team fights getting picks on the squishy targets, which... I mean, she can do that from very early on. I've seen clips of Kiana's blowing up Corkis in the mid lane with nothing but a Tiamat at level 6 or something like that. But towards the later stages of the game, it might be difficult.
What happens if she ults the
Jarvan Cataclysm?
Wall? No, what happens if she ults the Jarvan Cataclysm? The Flesh Wall. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh. Good question,
the Ghoul
actually.
Wall.
The Ghoul Wall.
I like that.
The Yorick Wall.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, actually.
I don't
haven't
know if
seen
it
that
counts as
interaction.
terrain, because you can kill it. So I don't think it does count as terrain. I'd like to
keep
know.
our eyes open.
Let me know on Twitch chat, because I can't see you. So let me know if it counts as terrain and you can ultimate display of supreme talent.
Close enough.
Close enough.
You said the word ultimate, and it is an ultimate, so I'll let you have it.
Display of supreme talent. Supreme display of talent.
He's done it.
I'm gonna write it down.
Beautifully
As soon
done.
as I'm off camera, I haven't got a pen. I'm gonna write it down somewhere.
It's okay. We'll find one.
So
just yell at production until they get it done.
Before we get into game, we asked about ice lollies. What is it? I need to know. What is your top tier ice lolly?
At the minute,
keep in mind, I've already told you
the
the answer to the question.
You have?
You weren't listening.
I was not listening. What are you
last
talking
game.
about?
So last game, me and Orcs were talking about like the top ice lolly. What is the top ice lolly?
The only one that I currently have in my house is, you get those ones in like the plastic tube that you like snap in half. That are like Fanta or something.
Are they the ones that like cut your jaw
they're
up?
really bad.
Yeah.
They shred you.
The correct answer is Fab. That is literally the correct answer.
It's not. Fab is like the jack of all trades.
No.
It's like when you can't decide
what you want. You were not
want.
listening in the last cast.
Come on.
Thank you very much for my pen and paper, Lee.
They're like B tier. They're okay.
You see, he's desperately trying to stay valuable, seeming as you guys aren't tweeting with the hashtag UKLC at LVPUKLOL if you want to get involved in the conversation. So he hands me a piece of paper, and now I am going to quickly write down the name of
display of
royalty.
talent. Write down that Fab's a B tier at best as well while you're doing that.
Oh, man.
Seriously.
You are rubbing me the wrong way.
It's like if you want a chocolate ice lolly or something, get a Magnum. If you want a milky one, there's options for that.
I'll get
if you want a fruity one,
the
Rocket
milky
Lollies
ones. What were they called? The milky ice lolly
they
things.
had milk in the name. I remember.
Yeah,
that.
milk something. They were
Mini
great.
milks.
Mini milks. That was the one. They were great.
Beautiful.
I got to stop talking about ice cream.
You know what I've
Can
just
you tell
thought?
I'm hungry?
You know what I've just thought? When you brought up that analogy of the hamster eating the cat and that being a bit of an underdog story, this could be this game. if Nvision takes this home, this could be the hamster of Nvision eating the cat of Diabolus, because Diabolus has looked pretty good throughout this season.
Yeah.
So that you could argue they're a cat. They're not quite a lion or like a panther like you'd expect from Fnatic or XL, but they could be a domestic cat. Now, Nvision, hamster maybe they can bite. They've got a little bit of teeth to them.
Have I ever told you about my my old boss's hamster?
Go ahead.
So she had this hamster. She loved this thing. Like it was like, you know how like you got people who are like dogs and cat people? She was like, loved this hamster. This hamster was her child. And she made her balcony at her flat as like a playground for the hamster. At which point, one of the guys I worked with turned to her and said, hey, like, aren't you worried about birds of prey? And she went, no, he'll be fine. That day, an owl came and took the hamster. So she comes into work. She's all upset. You know, it's her hamster. I didn't know how to react when she goes, I'm sorry, but Rufus is dead. And I was like, who? And then it turns out the hamster survived. It fought off the owl, dropped 3 stories down, survived in a bathroom that was covered with rat poison because the downstairs had a rat infestation. This hamster went like full on Rambo. So you never know. Maybe we might just have the Rambo Nvision coming up here.
I thought that was just going to be another instance of me and you just talking about hamsters dying.
I had to find a way to tie it back because it's a long story.
Yeah. So, okay. We'll leave that conversation there. Let's start a new one. As Proper Panda dashes in, Dragdar dashes out. That's how the anti-aggression of Ezreal works in this lane. You go for the engage, he presses E, and you reset. Nice
I want to know, how do you actually pronounce where Kiana's from? Is it Ixtal? How do you say it?
Ixtal?
Ishtal. Ishtal, thank you. And it's not because I'm writing down the name of all the abilities and I was wondering how the hell to say it. I was genuinely curious, as I am also writing down the name of all her abilities.
Man, if only there was like a pre-game segment where we could have done something like this. But then again, we didn't know that Kiana was going to be picked up because she has been banned every game today.
You are correct.
Well, we're still waiting to see any hyper-aggression coming out of her, as there is a bit of a trade back and forth, and Infinity just shows up to put our mild excitement to rest. Just says we'll have none of that. No scrapping.
Yeah, this is actually one of the things about when the cage goes down by Borrelia. Kakan can just blood pool, sit inside it. He doesn't need to kill it. He can just walk away. Does take a little bit of a trade on the tail end of that, but he has that phase rush. So as soon as it wears off, he kind of pops the phase rush nice and easy, and then just is able to jump and dodge away here. As Nvision, you got to remember, when they played versus M&M, they had a hell of a start. Then they played versus XL, and they had a hell of a start. So this is a team who seem to be showing recently a good ability to kind of get good earlies, but it's the transitioning is where they start to get a little bit worried. As Furious stepping up here, goes in, gets himself the Terror Shape down, and the Ignite onto Sunder. We'll just be able to walk away.
Quite enough damage to pop him completely, but it's enough to force him out of lane, and that's with 0 items. He had a stack of Corrupting Pot, that's it.
No, that's just so rough on the Zenith Blade connects, and now Proper Panda is taking a fair amount of damage. Concussive Blows not going to be stacked up, though. And he tries to make the moves happen onto Dragdar, but the more this happens, the more mana Dragdar burns. He's now low on mana, so unless he can kind of RNG a mana pot from the Kleptomancy, it can be fairly rough. I just saw a knobbly bobbly. Man, they are pretty good. Why are all Ice Lollies so good?
It's because of the hot weather.
Okay, here's
recently.
a harder question. What's a bad Ice Lolly? What's like a really bad Ice Lolly? I want you guys to let me know what a bad Ice Lolly is.
Soleros, I don't like.
Then they're ice cream though.
Yeah, but then they have like the fruity
got the
ice
stick.
bit around the outside. Are you telling me Magnums isn't ice lollies?
No, they're ice cream on a stick.
But
Like they're not ice lollies.
Yeah, fair enough.
I like how you got some real looks in the production room there when you said that. They were like, what are you on about? Oh my lord, that is it's unnerving.
Oh god.
See, Jakey from Enclave. This is a man after my own heart. Fab, thank you. Fab are so good. Like, Fab are so good. All right, I'm actually getting production in my ear saying no. I'm gonna go around there with one of those pool tubes and start beating you with it because it can't hurt you, so it's not a real threat of violence. But I'm gonna hit you with a pool tube. Someone go order one on Amazon for me.
I'll be fair, I did buy a box of Fabs because they were like reduced to 90p or something at Tesco. So I don't hate them. They're fine.
They're great. You got a bit of chocolate, a bit of ice lolly, bit of whatever that creamy stuff is, but might have to hold this because Infinity's coming in for an optimistic gank. The Zenith Blade goes a little bit wide, and now he even steps up, takes a Q to the face. PFI, he's also making his way up here. Look at Infinity on that flank. Proper Panda is ignited. Dragdar jumps in forward. That's going to be the slow zone thrown down. Dragdar jumps in. Infinity finds first blood, and he is low as hell, but he's able to flash away, stand beside the minions. And Nvision find first blood.
Those are the eyes of a stone-cold killer on Infinity as he flashes forwards, finishes off the low-health Dragdar, who had actually just been back, picked up his tier, so he had all his mana back, but he hadn't burned the teleport, so he will be able to get himself back into the lane, losing the minimum, but still giving the first blood over to a hyper-scaling jungler like the Karthus, who's going to wreck you in the later stages of the game. Never ideal.
The Maiden's down, and Kakan is pretty low on HP already. That's going to be the Hemo Plague to pop the phase rush and a nice heal for Kakan, but it doesn't actually do too much healing. Borrelia still has the ability to kind of go for the all-in, got a big minion wave to work with, and Kakan does obviously have himself a bit of healing options, but it could be a lot of damage thrown onto the tower. But this is one of the weird things. When we saw the previously the Yorick get picked up, there were ganks just to kill Maiden, because while Maiden's alive, Borrelia is effectively 2v1 top lane.
Yeah, just the amount of bonuses that Yorick gets just from having that extra bit of presence in the lane, and then you spawn all the ghouls on top of it. It's really rough. If anyone can stand up to it, though, it probably will be the Vladimir. As you can see on the left, he's already pretty much back to full health again after that little skirmish that they had up in the top side. Just so much inbuilt sustain. Didn't even need to burn through his teleport to get back up there and clears out the wave. He did lose a tower plate, though, so a little bit of extra gold already in favor of Nvision.
I'd actually really like to see Borrelia, pick up a Executioner's Calling nice and early. I think it opts into him kind of getting, a bit more sustain versus Kakan, kind of deny what Kakan's able to do. I don't know why I said sustain. That isn't the word I'm looking for, but it gives him the option to kind of deny Kakan's sustain, which is the only reason Kakan was able to kind of come out from that okay, because he was low. Now Borrelia is actually low on experience versus Kakan, but he's going to miss out on the cage, and Borrelia just has to step away. But with the shovel, he has a fair amount of healing, so it's pretty hard for either of these two to push each other out at the moment until some kind of grievous wounds come down, and this actually might just be Kakan going low.
Oh, Infinity's here
again. Coming in, and that's going to be Infinity slowing him down. Kakan forces out the blood pool, the flash comes away. He is low, and Borrelia smacks him with a shovel to get the kill in the top lane.
PFI just a second too late, can't actually get involved, but Fury's here too.
And the flag, the drag, the Terrafall comes down. That's going to be a supreme display of power as Fury gets himself the kill. The talent is enough. Infinity uses the ulti. He picks one up, and it's a 2-for-1 top lane.
3 out of 4 words. Not bad, Jake. We'll get there next time as Kiana drops the ultimate all the way along the wall, but it still isn't enough to stop the teleport from Spark coming through. They didn't have that instant snappy CC like you get from the likes of a Leona in that bottom lane, so they can't cancel the teleport. As Spark makes his way up there and turns it around once again. It's still a 1-for-1 overall, but with the additional kill already picked up in the top lane for Nvision.
It's got to be really trippy if you're Sivir, sorry, and you see a Kiana. Like, I'm not talking as a player, I'm just talking about, like, as champions, as people. They probably see each other and like, hold up, that's my weapon.
It's like the Spider-Man meme. Like,
yeah. Someone edit that. I actually really want that. Let's have a little look at this play once again. Infinity's been really good with these ganks so far.
Yeah, he's certainly been finding the routes where there hasn't been that vision, using his own team's vision wards to great effect, sitting on them, making sure that there's no possible way that he can be spotted as he makes his way into these fights. And even as PFI gets involved, drops the Cataclysm, in combination, as we said, with the supreme display of talent, it's not enough to lock people up for long enough for this 0-item Vladimir to actually pump out enough damage to get through them, as still, he hasn't got a completed item. He's just sitting on components, similarly to the Yorick. But as you said, with the Maiden there, it's like an additional champion as well in terms of damage it can output. That's why this tower's so low, and it's only 11 minutes in already.
Yeah, he's able to cut through these towers nice and quick. Once that Triforce gets picked up, the tower threat is terrifying. He's a real nuisance when he's to deal with when he gets that, so pretty close to it. Now that he's actually picked up 2 plates in that top lane, he should have a fair amount of gold in his pocket. He should be closing in on that Triforce.
This is part of the reason why Diabolus has decided to initiate the lane swap, because they need that extra bit of protection of having the Braum as well as the Ezreal in the top lane so they can stop the bleeding on this tower. But it does mean that Sivir, notoriously an AD carry that shoves in waves incredibly well, will be able to have a chance to get some free plates in the bot lane. But PF5 picks up the Rift Herald, immediately drops it top, looking to trade back some gold.
Yeah, they're actually going in. That's going to be the lockdown. The Blood Pool's been used. Spark has a Hemo Plague on top of him. What was that ulti? It went so wide. Proper Panda doesn't properly place the ulti. The rest of the team join in, and that's going to be Sunder joining up as Spark picks up the kill. The tower base race is on already, and it looks like Diabolus are the ones who are winning it out for the moment. Plate number 1 will fall, but those resistances are starting to stack up. Diabolus should come out on top here with the flag, with the ability to take this so quickly, but this is a slow tower.
Quickly in quotation
Quickly was not
marks.
the word I needed to use
It certainly wasn't, but it will eventually be traded out as there is no response towards this bottom lane tower. There's less champions here for Nvision, so less stacked resistances on it. So they will both take a tower for themselves. Diabolus gets it first, but has the additional members, and wasn't quite able to keep the Rift Herald alive, unfortunately, so they weren't able to secure a second charge on the inner tower, I don't believe. But Fury in the mid lane grabs himself a couple of plates as well, while Sunder was making the teleport play to the bot to capitalize on Kakan being left alone once again.
Oh, well, there's a Drake spawning up in a second as well. Guess which one it is?
Oh god, I wasn't looking.
I don't know. I'm just about to guess.
Fab?
What? Fab. All right, I'm going to put that as Ocean, because it's refreshing.
Yes. Close.
Observer, take us up to the Drake.
Oh, it's Mountain. It's on that screen.
Oh.
But that's the thing about Fabs, is they're a little bit of everything. That's what I mean. It's like, it could be Ocean, it could be Fire, it could be Mountain, or it could be all three at once. It's like an explosion of half-assed taste.
Watch it. You're walking a thin line, and so is Proper Panda as he is just annihilated. He throws down the ulti. That's going to be a lot of damage from the wall, getting burnt around here by Fury, but they've still got a lot to work with. Diabolus, low HP, and they're being chased down. In comes the Requiem, and down will go members. They're not enough to actually get the kill. The Heathen goes golden, but he will get picked up by Borrelia. Borrelia is chasing for Kakan. A shovel will be enough to secure himself a double kill. Dragdar able to make his way out. And Fury, he's okay. He's able to make it back to mid lane and defend as Borrelia and Spark look to run him down. Spark needs to be careful. Might just get himself the Woo! He down.
Sivana. There you go. There's a little confrontation between the two, but Fury ain't going to be able to get out of Borrelia's grasp.
This
4
is the
kills
Borrelia.
for Borrelia.
This is the Borrelia we saw in Forge of Champions.
Let's go. EJBY Brotherhood Borrelia making a bit of a resurgence here. He's found a champion that works for him. 4-0-1, 14 minutes into the game. He's been shoving towers down. He's been shoving champions down as well. This guy is having so much impact in this game right now. But this is the point where Diabolus, they haven't fallen too far behind. It's 3k gold at about 15 minutes. It could definitely be worse, and they've definitely made comebacks before with just superior team fighting over teams that are in similar standings to Nvision as well. So as soon as they start to get to those maybe 2 item marks, it's really where Diabolus is looking for their personal strengths and will be their way back into this game.
A tower in the top lane will go down. Sunder was able to pick it up, and Fury. So they're going to try and clear out this wave here for the moment, but doesn't want to overstep. Could be dangerous for him. As you can see, Proper Panda's facing up in that tri-bush. Will be able to get his way out as Fury almost spots him out in time. The Valkyrie's used by Sunder, dropping the package to clear the wall towards some safety. And now, this is where I feel the Nvision kind of split push will start to get unlocked from Borrelia, from Sunder. It's only mid lane to defend, and Dragdar's going to have a harder time clearing these waves than Spark's going to be able to. Spark's now got the Essence Reaver. You can see this Ricochet, these Boomerang Blades will just clear through this wave so fast.
Part of what makes it so difficult to defend against the Sivir when you're in this situation. She's a short-range champion, so you would think that sieging is difficult, but especially as a champion like Ezreal with a lack of wave clear built into his kit, other than just the ultimate that he can throw out every sort of 80 seconds or so at this point in the game, it's not going to be too impactful.
Oh, Fury jumps in, Tries to get himself some damage onto Sunder. Throws out the ulti. Does get the stun, in fact, and that's going to be enough to secure the kill. That's got an ulti coming down onto one in the top lane. Kakan is low. They get himself a bit of damage off, but he's looking to heal up for the moment. The rest of the team now coming hot on the heels for the chase. Kakan gets the empowered Q, gets slowed down, and one Ghoulie Ghoul is going to chase him down. Infinity does have the ulti, but that blood pool will be coming up soon. The Requiem going to be used, and Kakan uses the blood pool, turns into ketchup. And Infinity's hopes are dashed.
And that's got to hurt if you're the Karthus, because that was your trade-off for losing your mid laner in the top.
Oh, actually.
Well, there you go. That's another one.
You good shit. Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Meanwhile, Borrelia is just going for the base. It's 16 minutes, and he's onto an inhibitor. Infinity! Don't do them like that, man. That's just mean.
Yeah, things have just gone from good to better for Nvision there, as, yeah, they didn't quite get the kill on Kakan on the tower dive, but Infinity just walks mid and picks up 2 more for free, as Diabolus were looking to try and get something back in the mid lane, and this is kind of what was their downfall last week as well, up against M&M, where they were trying to capitalize on their opposition's aggressive plays, but overstepped themselves and got caught out in doing so. So maybe they need to just pull back a little bit, understand that they are as far behind as they actually are, and not overcommit for those aggressive plays to try and get themselves back into the game. Just let it happen more naturally as you hit your item spikes and the team fights, because that is where they excel. But in this game, Nvision have just been capitalizing on it really, really well.
Fury able to clear out that mid lane tower finally, but Super's pushing in the bot lane is going to be a real problem for Diabolus. And actually, I said Borrelia is going to be the one escorting them into the base of Diabolus. He has got his teleport available. So does Sonder, and so does Spark. So the ability to kind of snap their fingers and send multiple members on top of Diabolus is starting to really stack up and be a problem for them. We can see the gold leads on our screens right now. Look at that top lane difference.
Yeah, that's another problem for them, really.
This was our match to watch as well.
Borrelia is hard enough to stop against the split pushing as it is when he's on a Yorick, but when he's this far ahead and he's got the inhibitor in that lane as well, Kakan can do absolutely nothing.
The audacity forward by Fury doesn't actually get himself the damage onto Sonder to commit for the kill, as a great Valkyrie will clear him away, and that's going to be the Cloud Drake picked up. Next one, a second Cloud. Infinity, he just bases up. He wasn't even there in time.
He was there in moral support for the team, but Fury is just hovering around this top lane, just looking for a potential pick on Sonder. They've already burned the flash from him, so he knew that there was definitely something up, some sneaky sharks in the waters, and didn't want to get blown up again on the top side of the map, so backs away, drops Division, forces Diabolus to back away from that. As again, it's a trade for a dragon, a neutral objective, and nothing is gained for Diabolus. But on the bright side for them, they didn't overstep and didn't overcommit for a play and get punished for it.
Well, looks to me like Nvision are just setting up some vision around this Baron pit. They know that this is potentially an opening for them. Infinity just walk over that pink ward. I don't think he was completely looking to... He just wanted to get the wave first. Okay, he wasn't looking. All right, now he knows it's there. Fury actually might be able to get some damage down. Throws out the Q. Doesn't actually get the snare down. He did have ice on his edge of each tail. Kakan is proto-belting away from Borrelia, who's inside his base. And oh my lord!
Is this Nasus? That did so much damage, Kakan. You need some items, buddy.
Wow. Keep in mind, like, it's not like Kakan doesn't have HP. This is a champion whose AP turns into health and his health turns into AP, so...
Very minor blessing is the fact that they were able to pick up the Ocean Drake, so he will start to regen a little bit on top of what he's getting through with his abilities, but it's not enough to keep him topped up to the point where Borrelia can't just bully him.
Hold on, PFI just walked past Borrelia, who's sieging his Nexus tower. He's actually summoned the Maiden here, and Kakan is low. They've used the ulti onto Borrelia. He has the Hemo plate. The healing is there. Kakan is low, but Kakan gets the kill. Maiden will not shut him down. Borrelia maybe oversteps inside the base without support, without help.
That shouldn't have happened. Borrelia had flash up and available, could have escaped, but just overstepped a little bit too much. As you say, PFI didn't commit to the play as the Nvision were pressuring around the Baron pit, so he needed to be available around that area should he be needed for a smite steal. But in the end, it's Kakan who takes the 1 versus 1 in his base, uses his cooldowns so effectively with that Sanguine Pool, dodging out on so much of the damage from the Maiden, and turns that lane a little bit on its head.
Oh, clutch flash by him in time, but now Proper Panda actually finds out PFI. The rest of the team might just look to try and slow him down. A bit of damage thrown down, and in comes Spot. PFI has to flash away. That's the ulti to pull him in place. PFI flags and drags Borrelia 1v3. The Requiem's coming down. They've used everything on top of him, and he makes it out alive. In the 1-for-1 trade, Borrelia will now finally fall. The flank's coming down by Kakan, and Proper Panda gets picked up for a double kill by Fury. Infinity now trying to see if he can get some damage down. A Spark flashes away. Kakan is able to make his way out. The supreme display of talent does not find his mark, and Infinity now has to be careful. He's taking a lot of Qs, and Fury can clear that wall, but Nvision step away from the fight. Equally trading out versus Diabolus.
Yeah, and even when they're in a bad position and it's PFI getting caught out of position first, Diabolus managed to hold on and turn it so it is at the very least a 2-for-2, and they don't lose too much. And in fact, their inhibitor has just respawned, and this is exactly what the Diabolus kind of play style is just survive the early game, and then when it gets to these 20-odd minute fights, you can start to take advantages there, even if you are at a disadvantage in gold. And the gold lead for Nvision has shrunk by about 2,000 gold in the past couple of minutes as well, and that shutdown on Kakan onto Borrelia has closed that gap substantially as well.
The question to me, though, is how does this actually work out? Because you look at how the jungle difference, first of all, the gold, 3,000 gold Infinity has over Jarvan. And while obviously PFI will always be able to kind of provide engage for the team, the damage scaling on Infinity is going to be really terrifying for Diabolus to deal with. You know, Kiana is known for more kind of like the early/mid-game power spike. She's not really a late-game scaler, and that's going to be him getting jumped onto. They use the ulti to pin him in place. Fury flashes over the wall. Proper Panda trying to chase, and Sunder will pick himself a shutdown up as the Heathen is being chased down by Borrelia. He just goes underneath the tower. The ghouls are doing the work for him. Maiden doesn't commit, and the Heathen is forced away. The rest of the team turn towards Baron Nashor. Look at PFI, though. He's 3 levels down on to Infinity. He's not going to make it over the time to steal, and now he's in a dangerous position.
It's already dead. PFI just strolls over and the Baron is already gone. Fury wishes he had about 5 extra seconds there as the supreme display of talent was about to come back up, and those cramped little jungle entrances is the exact position where you want to be using it. Kiana is the queen of the jungle for a reason, and having that extra bit of utility could have at the very least kept her alive for long enough to be able to put some more pressure down on the Baron, but it will not be the case. She gets taken down, and it's a second inhibitor turret now for Nvision.
I don't know what Diabolus do here. They might just try and force the engage. PFI, hella squishy. Just got the Warmogs, just got the Cinderhawk. Has a lot of health, but no resistances. And he will get cut through by that Triforce, by that Infinity Edge, and Essence Reaper on Spark. And this was the point I was going to make before the Baron, is while they have Kakan for scaling on the Vladimir, that is kind of like the biggest scaler they've got. Obviously, Dragdart Ezreal does have some element of scaling, but like a Sivir will hard outscale an Ezreal. A Corki will hard outscale an Ezreal. A Karthus hard outscales the Jarvan. Like, their only scaling is in the top lane, who is 1-4 currently. He has been getting absolutely smacked about by Borrelia. He does have the CS to at least keep himself somewhat relevant, and he was able to get a big shutdown. So the gold isn't as skewed as it might have been earlier. But this has just been another free Drake picked up by Nvision. They still got 2 minutes left on the Baron buff, and they might just try and group up bot lane.
That certainly seems to be the play. They've got 2 open inhibitors available, but the only members with teleport is the Corki and the Sivir, who you don't really want to be isolated when there's assassins.
Look at the Death Bowl coming out. Borrelia might be the one to get caught out. He jumps away. He gets rooted in place. That's going to be a supreme display of talent as I'm tripping over my words. PFI throws the Cataclysm in. Proper Panda goes golden in the middle of the fight as he survives forever. Kakan tries to get that healing off, but he gets taken down. Tries to get himself a kill onto the AD carry. Is able to do so, but the Requiem is here, and it's going to do oh so much burst damage. Sunder putting that damage into Fury as he flashes forward, trying to find the damage onto Heathen. He can only block up so much. The Valkyrie's there. Proper Panda uses the Ignite. The Rocket snipes out Fury. The inhibitor will be taken down, and Dragdart has to 1v4 defend versus the Nvision Death Ball as they're looking to pick themselves up. Their second win of the UKLC Can they do it? The turret's getting focused. Dragdar just doesn't have the damage to deal with, and he's so low on HP. The Nexus is being focused, and Nvision take the game.
Borrelia was so damn tanky in that fight. They engaged onto him. They had 4 members stacked up in the bush. He just walks up, places a ward, takes all the damage, all the engage, and still survives at the end of the fight while the Karthus cleans up on the back line. The Sivir and the Corki get all their AoE damage down and chase down into the Diabolus base for, once again, another huge victory for Nvision.
What an absolute great... I don't know. My words are lost. Nvision, they played so flawlessly, and this was why I actually predicted them coming into this game, because I looked at the previous few weeks from Nvision. I went, okay, this team has improved since week 1. They're looking stronger. Their early game has been vastly improved on, and there were areas where it's like, okay, are they good enough to close out? And there were a few glaring mistakes, to be fair, coming out from Nvision in that game. The most obvious is Borrelia just inside the base while the rest of the team hadn't even taken the tier 2 mid, and they were setting up for Baron, and he gets solo killed. That was a bit of a whoopsie by Borrelia, but outside of the rest of that, that was the Borrelia we saw from Forge of Champions. That was the Nvision we saw from Forge of Champions. This is a team who fought their way and earned a spot at the UKLC, and they just made a statement versus one of the most consistent teams to say, this is why we should stay. And that's going to be another win picked up for Nvision, and that means Diabolus' their run in week 5 is over. But we still have one more game to go. It's going to be the other rookies of the split, Demise, taking on M&N. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a second.